Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts, and today we are going to be making this reveal wheel treat box. So the wheel turns at the side like so and opens the box to reveal the treats inside. This box is 6 inches square and 1 inch deep, and you can adapt this to any size that you want once you understand the mechanism, which is very simple. What I would say is it's meant as a treat box or something which would certainly be in small packets, for instance, so that you can move them to the front over the hole and then get them out. You wouldn't want to put something which required a 6 by 6 inch box in here because you're not going to be able to get it out of the box. So let's get started. I'm making a box base which is 6 by 6 and 1 inch deep, but obviously you can adjust the size of your box and then adjust your other elements to suit the size of box you want to make. I'm starting with a piece of cardstock which is 9 inches by 9 inches, and along each side I'm going to score at 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches. So I end up with my piece which looks like this. Fold and burnish along all of the score lines. We work from left to right. I'm going to cut up the first score line, through the first horizontal up to the second horizontal, like so. Cut up the second score line like so. So we've got our flaps. I'm going to rotate, cut away this excess corner here and cut the end off this piece here, so where our corner now looks like this, and this is our glue tab. So I'm just going to cut a slight wedge from the glue tabs, rotate the cardstock and do exactly the same thing on the other end. So this is our box tray. I'm going to add glue to the glue tabs and make up my box. So I'm just pulling up the side of my box and make sure that sits nice and square at the corners. So do that on all 4 sides. Fold down the outer tabs, and I'm just going to use some tape, and as you take them down, just ensure that the edges of the flap here are not sticking out over the edges of the box. So make sure that they sit nice and flush and cut off any excess as necessary. Add your chosen adhesive and we're just going to glue down the corners. Next, I've cut a circle which is 5 3/4 inch in diameter. I've marked the centre point with my pencil, and then I've taken the smallest circle die that I have, laid it over so that the centre of my die is roughly over my centre point for my centre of my circle, and then I've drawn around the inside of the circle die, which has given me this circle in the middle. I've then taken my pencil and ruler and I've marked a line 2 5/8 inch either side of my centre point. So my centre point is here, and I've drawn a pencil line 2 5/8 inch across to the left and 2 5/8 inch across to the right, and this has given me this line across the middle, and this is where I'm going to create the hole, which is going to be the hole in which you get into the box. So we now want to create our cutout section. I'm going to use a circle cutter. You can use your dies to draw around the circle and then cut independently. Use whatever means you have to create your circle. The first thing I'm going to do is use my craft knife, and I'm going to cut around the pencil mark that we made with our small die, and this is just going to create an edge or a piece on through which our brad can sit and add all the elements together. So I've just cut around that circle. Place my circle cutter in the middle. So I'm going to cut my reveal slot between the pencil lines. So I'm now going to use my ruler and I'm going to cut along the pencil line from the end of the circle part circle I've just cut down to the outer edge of the inner circle, like so. So I'm going to do the same the other side and remove that section. Okay, so there's our wheel section. The next thing we need is a piece of cardstock 3.5 by 5 7/8, and this is going to be the support for our reveal wheel. Lay your piece down on your mat and lay your wheel on the top, and you want to lay your wheel so it's equidistant from the edge either side and roughly 3/8 of an inch in from the bottom. Take your pencil and trace around the inside of your wheel onto your support piece, and then we want to cut along the pencil line we've just made. So this piece is going to sit in here and it's going to support our wheel like so. Next, cut yourself 2 circles, and these are 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and I've just glued the 2 together, and these are going to be support between the wheel and the base element just to help the wheel turn. Put your support panel and your wheel to one side. Now you want to prepare the top of the box. This is a square of 6 by 6 inch cardstock, and then on the top I've added some DSP, which is 5 7/8 squared. The first thing you want to do is have your piece facing down. Lay your wheel on top in the middle of your square. What I'm first going to do is I'm going to mark where the notch will be cut out of the top panel so the wheel can be turned. So I'm getting my wheel where I want it. I'm just marking inside where the wheel comes round, like so. So therefore I know that my finger pull, I don't want it to come anywhere beyond inside that. I'm just going to mark down the side at 3 inches, so that's halfway down. I'm going to take my circle punch and I'm just going to lay it inside so it's roughly at half, and I don't want the outer edge of the punch to go beyond the pencil mark. So I'm just going to come in slightly and cut that away. That's the finger notch for my turn. I would have rather have had it that side, but it's not to worry. I'm going to lay my wheel back down so you can see that's how my wheel sits over the side. Let's get that in the right place. And now I'm going to trace inside my wheel. Like so. So that's the gap that I can have in the top panel, which is going to be the same size as my wheel. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut the slot in the top panel slightly within that. I'm going to use my circle cutter again. If you've got circle dies, you can use those. I'm going to just draw a line about 1/8 of an inch inside the pencil line. So this is going to be my cut line. I'm going to lay my cutting tool in the center and I'm just going to adjust it so that it's now sitting about 1/4 of an inch inside my wheel, like so, and I'm then going to cut. I'm then going to cut along my pencil lines to the center circle, and then I'm just going to cut around the circle pencil mark. We're going to just put our piece together without adding it to the box before I spend any time doing any stamping, etc. on here. Take your base piece and take your wheel. Line your base piece up and your wheel so that your circles which you cut are lined up. And whichever method you have, whether it's a screw punch or whether it's a pokey tool, make a hole in the centre of the reveal wheel. If you can, also go through the base cardstock. If not, you will at least get an indentation on the base cardstock, and that you then want to cut a hole in the base cardstock. Put your base support to one side, take your circle that you've cut and lay your reveal wheel centrally over your circle, and then use your punch or your pokey tool. Use the hole that you've got in your wheel as a guide to cut through your support circles like so. Line your wheel hole up over the hole that we've cut in our front panel and use the hole that you've made in your reveal wheel as a guide to punch through your front layer. So you've now got your front layer with a hole, your wheel with a hole, your supports circles with a hole, and your base element with a hole. So I'm going to construct and test mine before I spend the time decorating this wheel. Take your brad, poke your brad through the front of the card, poke your brad through the hole of the wheel, poke your brad through the support circles, and then add on the base support. So I've got my brad through 4 pieces of cardstock. Push the pins, split the pins, line everything up. So line up your wheel hole inside your front like so, and just line that all up. Now I can see that my base is slightly longer than the front of my card. So what I'm going to do, now that the rest of this is lined up, I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to draw a pencil line along the outside edge of my front panel, and then I'm going to cut that excess off of the base support. So if we lay everything down, the wheel will turn and then the box will open and the treats can be accessed. So with your wheel closed, you may want to lightly pencil this area so that you know that this is the gap in which you've got to stamp your image. So I'm going to take my elements all apart again, trim down my base unit, stamp my image, take your base tray, lay it on top, and all I'm going to do is with my pencil, I'm just going to mark how far up the base tray comes, and I'm just going to mark inside. I'm just tracing around the edge of the base tray. We now want to create some supports at the top edge of our box to support the lid. I've cut a 2-inch square of cardstock and I'm going to stick those across the corner edges of the box. So they're going to support our lid. So I'm just going to run glue around the 2 edges and add those to the corner like so, and add this one this side. And now we're going to start our final element of construction. So you will need some foam tape or some foam squares. Add foam in the top corner like so, and do the same on this side. And then obviously if you've got tape you can use tape. Take your base piece and your wheel, lay your wheel on top and add foam in the corners. I'm going to make it 2 layers high. So I'm going to take the 2 off there, add those onto there, and I'm also going to add another 2 to the top on the box. What will happen is we'll take the tops off the foam and the top layer is going to sit on top of the foam. Start putting your elements together. I've got the front, on top of that is the wheel, on top of that are my discs, and on top of that is my base lid, like so. Get that all lined up. So that's all in place. Split your pins, add your glue to your base, add your base onto the top. So I can just lift that apart and just lay the base on and get that lined up. And you would almost be better using tape for this, I think, unless you are a lot more considered with your glue, because I've got glue everywhere. Let that dry, make sure that's all lined up nicely. Lift up each of the sides and just take the tops off of your foam. Not putting any pressure on the lid at the moment, so I'm lifting that up, and now I can make sure it's all lined up, push down from the top and just sit my lid in place like so. It's a bit fiddly, but it works. And now we can place our finger on the wheel, turn the wheel, so our box is like so. Obviously I'm going to add a big sentiment here. If you've got one, add a little arrow to the wheel or draw an arrow on and turn the arrow, and inside are revealed the treats, and that will just keep turning. This has come out so much better than I thought. I'm just going to add an arrow, and you can obviously make your tray any size and then adapt any of the elements to suit the top of your tray. So there we have today's project. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell for future videos. And until next time, thanks for watching.